Savannah intoxication.
The Winnipeg Police Services child determined her both charged with Matt's daughter became unresponsive. Both parents, and they were both unaware of Hannah's
from where the death.
WPS
Confidence come through a certain thing.
Conservative MP known as Twitter. Vidal has served as critic had been appointed restrictions to medical access. On Monday, the ND a Health Act to intervene. Edmonton Liberal
basic never override life.
And how Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh have historically always been here.
It's very exciting. You know, this is a dream come true. And I'm going to go back to late Leonard George. You know, this is one of his biggest dreams, the three nations to come together and be developers like this in our own shared territory. I know he's smiling down on us right now.
The project will take place in phases over the next 25 to 30 years. Tina House, APTN National News, North Vancouver.
We want to hear what you think about this new housing development project or any other story you see here tonight. Here's how to continue the conversation. If you have a story you want to share, send us an email to news@aptn.ca. To read and watch our stories, go to aptnnews.ca. You can find us online on your favorite social media sites, including TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. Follow APTN News to join the conversation and see our latest stories. We need to step aside for a quick break. Coming up, a Western Arctic Gwich'in chef's passion for cooking has taken her all the way to the United Nations.
Living in the city, I always missed the food from home, the food I grew up on. And I wanted to do more with Indigenous cuisine, Indigenous culture. I wanted to share who I am and who we are as Tetlet Gwich'in people.
Welcome back to APTN National News. The Yukon government says renovations are underway for a new managed alcohol program in downtown Whitehorse, with the goal of opening the program in the spring. The program will be administered at a former group home, which has space for up to 10 live-in clients. Staff will provide those with severe alcohol dependency with medically prescribed doses of alcohol at regular intervals. The program was developed in close collaboration with several community partners, including First Nations governments. Yukon government says the territory has high rates of alcohol consumption, which are among the highest in Canada. Yukon's Director of Mental Wellness and Substance Use Services says there's a number of benefits to the program.
When people get stabilized and have alcohol in a dosed out fashion, they increase their family relationships. There's an increased ability to care for medical issues in a proactive way and not a reactive way. They engage more with the community, and also I think one of the most important things is for human beings, they report just having better quality of life.
They say food is the route to staying connected to culture. That's what a Western Arctic Gwich'in woman has done since she moved away to BC to pursue a culinary career that's led her to the United Nations as a chef and educator. And her home community back home supports her through her jerky while inspiring youth back home to education in the culinary field. Carly Schogner has this story.
Food's always been a big part of my life, growing up in the north with a big family, always seeing my mom cooking, my jiju, my grandmother cooking, seeing how my community gathers around food.
Stephanie Barlock grew up in the small Western Arctic Gwich'in community of Tête Léger, Fort McPherson. Now she's raising her family in the Vancouver area.
Right up here is Tête Léger, Fort McPherson. That's where I grew up. I live down here in Powassan, BC, and I am heading to Rome, Italy, which is on this little... Living in the city, I always missed the food from home, the food I grew up on. And I wanted to do more with Indigenous cuisine, Indigenous culture. I wanted to share who I am and who we are as Tête Gwich'in people. Along came the opportunity here at Simon Fraser University to create an Indigenous food program.
From creamy wild rice spruce tip soup to venison sausage and dandelion pasta, her passion for food led her to spearhead and create the program, which provides storytelling and values around food.
When I cook, there's usually a story behind the dish. So whether it's one ingredient, whether it's 3 ingredients in the dish, there's going to be a story that I can tell you, or maybe you can share with me.
Chef Steph's awesome. We just had to bring her on board full time. We offer the Indigenous dishes every 2 weeks right now, right? We're looking to increase that. We have people coming in asking for it specifically, right? On even on days where we are not normally offering it.
Indigenous knowledge with our food security is what sustains our people.
Barlock has presented her menus and educational program in Rome twice, in July and October, at the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization's Global Indigenous Youth Forum.
I think a lot of the issues these days with food security, food sovereignty, and food waste, and I think that's the biggest thing, is connection through food. Sometimes we get lost in, not really giving the appreciation to the ingredients, how they're collected, harvested, so I think we need to get back into doing that.
During the pandemic in 2022, Barlock, homesick, decided to start making beef jerky with what ingredients she had and to send some home.
These bins would be full of the jerky, and so she just sends it up in the... She sent it up, and I put it on Facebook that I had it, and she did too, and it just sold. People liked it, and then they kept buying more.
It took off immediately. People now post around the world with Mrs. B's jerky.
The jerky she makes, she wanted to try that because of making caribou dry meat, which is everyone loves. I don't know anyone who doesn't like caribou dry meat. 2 that are left, and that's it, out of 186 bags. So that's pretty good if you ask me. It's very inspirational for me to see her putting so much work and effort and research into her cooking, because she does go back to her roots as being Gutchin. Caribou provided everything: food, shelter, clothing, everything you needed.
Barlick's work has inspired others, including her niece, who is now in culinary school.
She is one of my inspirations, and I do look up to her just because, you know, she's from a small town like me. And she left, and now she's a chef at a university in Indigenous cuisine. And she's out here doing bigger things.
Learning business skills, she says she hopes to start her own food business back home, while there is little to no food industry in the region. She encourages others to continue their education.
Like, you know, anybody's debating on if they whether she should move, like leave home. It is hard being so far away from home. But then also you have so much people behind you and that are so proud of you, and it just makes you feel so productive, and it just makes you feel so good once you're done your first semester.
Barlick is starting a weekly community kitchen on Vancouver downtown east side starting February 5th. Then she is hosting an Indigenous-inspired reception in Austin, Texas for the South by South Film and TV Festival early March.
It's made me realize that this work is more meaningful than just work to me. It's a chance for me to share who we are. It's a chance for me to show, maybe other Indigenous cooks and chefs that we could do these things. We belong in these spaces.
Carly Schogner, APTN National News, Inuvik.
Looks absolutely delicious. Well, we need to take one more quick break, but still to come. A Mi'kmaq community declares a state of emergency after a massive snowstorm in Nova Scotia. Welcome back. It's time now for our photo of the day. Stay safe and warm out there, Adeline. Thanks for the picture. Remember, you can send your pics to share it. The East Coast 0 degrees and snowy for Charlottetown, 2 degrees in Halifax. 10. North Bay, sunshine and 1 degree there. Sunshine, -24. Puckatawagan, 1 degree there. North Battleford, -3. Stony Rapids, sunny and -21. Buffalo Narrows there. Lethbridge, 0 degrees. Penticton, rainy and +7. Kamloops, sunshine and 6 degrees. 20. Norman Wells, sunshine and -23. Wauk, sunshine and -32. Nauyat, Parts of Nova Scotia were buried under a mountain of snow as a powerful sports.
I'm here in Jabuktuk, Mi'kmaq for Halifax. People have
150 centimeters of snow in some areas, including the Eskazosians, and emergency vehicles are unable to support to community members.
Most schools, government offices remain closed. News, Jabuktuk, also known as Halifax.
A fresh blast of winter has turned streets and city crews in Calgary are busy Sunday afternoon. And outside the city, things weren't much better with
I never got to do this when I was growing up because I'm from a place where it never snows. So
Olympic Plaza was cancelled due to snow safety concerns. But the snow Ottawa's Winterlude festivities. Multiple First Nations increase interest in First News. For news anytime, visit our website at aptnnews.ca.